Hello, welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and welcome to my February 2025 garden tour. Welcome, everyone. I am so glad that you've joined me. I am here on the last day of February to give you my February garden tour of both my front yard and my backyard. I think we'll be able to get through both on today's video. And the garden is waking up for sure. We are a couple weeks behind schedule than we normally are here in North Texas because just a couple weeks ago in mid-February, we experienced 70 hours below freezing. We got down to 10 degrees in temperature. We had a big cool down. And so with lots of snow to the south of us, we did not get any snow. We just got very, very, very cold. Zone 8 temperatures, where I'm on the border of zone 8A, 8B. We got down to 10, which is a zone 8 temperature, but not usually that late in winter. It was the coldest temperatures this winter, so everything kind of got set back just a little bit. But as you can see, the garden is now waking up a couple weeks later, and things are starting to look colorful and alive. And you can see that with this is the first daffodil bloom of my front garden. I have a couple of them in the back, but if you can scan down there, I have lots of daffodils popping up. That's what you see. And so I have a lot more daffodil blooms to come. This little guy, he's so sweet with his little daffodil next to him, but this is Lambo, our garden sheep. I just absolutely love him. But we're starting in this area of the garden just to kind of give you a brief overview of what it's looking like. And I'm going to actually start on this side first. Oh my goodness, this is an endless summer hydrangea back here, and you know, it just looks like a little bit of sticks right now. However, when you come in closer, you can see, look at that with the sun shining on it, but there are buds coming up everywhere. And again, this was I may not get as many blooms on my endless summer hydrangea as I did last year. Last year I got more blooms than ever before because our winter was fairly mild and we got our super cold temperatures, I think, in earlier mid-January, not in February. So all February it was budding out, and then those buds were not damaged by cold, so I had tons of blooms. This year I had buds coming up. Let's see if I can find a damaged one. That one might be damaged, but I had buds coming up when we experienced our super cold temperatures. And even though, see, you can see this actually, it's a little bit damaged, you can see by the cold, but I think it's still alive. It's still good. It's just the outer part of that bud was damaged by the cold that we experienced. And so we'll see. I covered it up. You don't normally need to cover up hydrangeas in zone 8 temperatures. They're rated down to like a zone 5, so they're fine, except when they start budding out for the spring, which mine did, and then you experience the coldest temperatures of your wintertime, then you need to get a little bit concerned, because the plant won't be damaged, don't get me wrong, but your blooms for the springtime are going to be gone if they get zapped. You won't get springtime blooms. Now, luckily, because this is an endless summer hydrangea, we're still going to see some blooms on new growth, but that will be much later in the season towards summertime. So anyway, it's coming alive. I don't quite see any new growth. I know that you see some green down there, and the green that you see is actually variegated Vinca major. And oh my goodness, right over here, this is variegated Vinca major. I had my first ever blooms on this. This is in its second growing season, and it didn't bloom last season. I'm assuming because it was its first growing season in the ground, but actually this might be its third blooming or its third season in the ground. But I finally got some blooms. I'm going to pop a picture on the screen so that you can see. Here's the spent blooms, if you can see them right there, that little white, that's the spent blooms. But I'm hoping to see lots more of those. See, there's a bloom that tried to come through, but it got zapped by the cold. But I'm hoping that I'll see a lot more of that on this plant. It's really pretty purple blooms. So that's what's in this corner of the garden. Down here I have Burgundy Glow Ajuga, and it's doing okay. It doesn't handle the cold as well as I thought it would. It kind of turns brown if you see in the wintertime, and I thought it was going to be more evergreen than it is, but the new growth that comes through is so beautiful. Look at those. Wow. So that's going to be beautiful, and then those will have lovely purple blooms here in the coming maybe month or two. And I have some Dusty Miller mixed in there as well. Again, variegated Vinca Major. I have some Dusty Miller. Right over here is Sunshine Ligustrum, and I just pruned it, and I pruned it hard. I'll pop another picture on the screen for you to see what it was like before, but it was massive. You couldn't like see into our porch at all. It was coming into the garden this way, kind of taking over the plants that are down there. So it really needed to be pruned back hard, and this is the right time of year to do that. And I know it looks a little bit empty there. There's a lot of bare spots that were uncovered with that hard prune, but I am not worried whatsoever. Sunshine Ligustrum can take hard pruning like a champ, especially when you do it in the right time of the year, which is now, and it's going to come back. Trust me, it's going to be spectacular. So I actually am enjoying it right here, kind of looking very well manicured, and I usually kind of let it get really woolly throughout the season to where it's not super manicured, but this is a really good look too, and I am really enjoying it. So coming down here, this is something new that I added to the garden last year that really is technically an annual, but it survived, and this is like a purple verbena, and it actually kind of even stayed green even through the cold, and so that is super exciting. That is a purple, like beautiful purple flowers on that type of verbena. I have a dianthus right here, and it survived that cold pretty good too. These are evergreen even in the super cold. It had some buds that were coming up that got zapped, I see, but otherwise it's doing pretty good. I have all over here, this is so beautiful, oh my goodness, I have pansies and Dusty Miller, and this is just something I'm gonna do every single winter. These were planted in I think late October, so in the fall time I planted these. They had a bit of time to grow because, you know, we were still fairly warm in October, November, and even December honestly had some really warm periods through it, so it grew pretty well. And then the pansies, they do really good. So does the Dusty Miller in the cold. The cold might zap the blooms, but as you can see, I had a cold, the coldest temperatures of winter were just 2 weeks ago, and this thing is just so beautiful. Like, these blooms came through afterwards, and they're just not affected. So super exciting there. They're absolutely beautiful. I love the look of the pansies with the Dusty Miller behind them, and I really will just do that every fall. Behind here, let's see, I have some daffodils coming up. I have a balloon flower that's right here. I have some muscari, and that was honestly just purchased. They were they were $2 at Walmart. So there are 2 muscari there and 2 muscari on the other side of my bird bath, and then some daffodils are coming up. So we'll see. I planted these the other day, and I'm not sure that they're doing all that well, to be honest. I have lemon ball sedum planted around the bird bath there, and then this, what you're seeing is variegated Vinca Major, but it's climbing on Salvia gregii. So I need to get it off of that and back on the ground where it needs to be. On this side, we have kind of the same thing. You can see that lemon ball sedum there. Some daffodils coming up there, muscari. I have some blooms coming up, so that's fun. I have May Night Salvia that's doing great right there. And then that is a daylily, and that is actually Sweet William. It's getting ready to put on some blooms, so that's super exciting. I love Sweet William. And then I have another Salvia gregii back there. More daffodils coming up everywhere back there, as you can see. let's see, I have another daylily back there. And let me show you on this side. Coming around over here, I have more Maynite salvia there. Really, it swoops all the way around, but somehow I think we lost a Maynite salvia that was right here. I have a daffodil coming in its place, but that's okay. This stuff spreads like crazy. Still some brown parts to it. I went through it yesterday and tried to get all of the dead off, but that's kind of hard without cutting off some of the new growth. So the new growth is going to cover all of this in no time, so that's no problem. Something that is so exciting, first blooms of the season. So again, last year I planted verbena all throughout, and one of the verbena that survived as well. This is actually Super Bena Sparkling Amethyst by Proven Winners, and there's one plant here, and it covered the ground last season all right here. So all of the green that you see right here, that is Super Bena Sparkling Amethyst. It handles cold like a champ, or at least I can tell you down to zone 8 temperatures. So it's already blooming, which is amazing because again, we had super cold temperatures last or just a couple weeks ago. It's not like fully in bloom quite yet. It has a lot of things still to open, but it's so exciting to see some of the first blooms of the season. I went through and again cut a lot of the dead of this off yesterday, but I could not cut this guy because it was already blooming for me. I was not going to cut it off. So we're going to, let me put it back where it was. There. Okay. It's good. Yeah. And right here I have a pot with a Limelight Standard hydrangea. You know, it's still dormant. Its buds are kind of popping up. I have pruned that. It's ready to go. And inside of this pot are beautiful little yellow violas. Look at that in the sunshine. There is dianthus, like a pink dianthus in here as well, but it's currently not in bloom. But that yellow, those yellow violas just love it here. I think those are the same. Those are actually violas, not pansies. And then I think I have tulip bulbs coming up. I did not plant these. They're from last year. And so I don't even know if they'll bloom because they do not perennialize here in North Texas. It doesn't get cold enough. But I mean, it's kind of shocking to even see them coming up right now, but that's exciting. So I'll welcome it. Go for it, right? I have some pansies that were completely neglected in a different location, and so I'm trying to bring them back to life in a couple of pots here and here. And then in this pot is actually a whole bunch of bulbs that I got for free this past weekend at Rooted In. They just wanted to get rid of their bulbs. They said come and get them, they're free, and I got them. So I think it's yellow tulips planted here, and I'll probably put some annuals in there when I see something that I want, but it's empty for now. Coming back up here, I wanted to show y'all the 3-tier topiary that I have. It is Carolina Sapphire Cypress. I hope I'm saying that right. It is so beautiful. Just an absolutely lovely color. Absolutely spectacular. It handled the cold like a champ as well, which I was a little bit worried. It goes down to zone 7, but when you plant something in a container, you're supposed to make sure it can handle 2 zones colder than your zone, and we're zone 8. So I did cover this whenever I had some pretty hard freezes. We had 2 really big cold snaps, and I covered it both times, and it handled it just fine, and it actually has a lot of new growth. So super excited about that. And then planted down here is variegated Liriope. That should actually be starting to bloom. Mine bloomed like late spring, early summer last year, but usually they bloom in the springtime. And then the blooms that you see down here are sweet little purple violas that survived the freeze pretty well. This is a yellow viola that did not survive that big freeze. I have hyacinths coming up from last year. Little bit, you can see it's a little bit zapped by the cold, but it started blooming today actually, which is so exciting. And then sweet little purple ones handled it really well. And then the yellow ones are starting to come back into bloom. I have another hyacinth there that this was in bloom during our cold snap. And so it's just amazing that it actually still has color. So super happy about that. And then planted behind here, let me get on the other side actually. Planted behind here is Confederate Star Jasmine. And this, actually I was so excited about this because it was still super green before we had our last cold snap. And this is just what jasmine does. It's rated, I think, down to zone 7. However, in zone 8 temperatures, my experience is that the vine, if you get true zone 8 temperatures, the vine is going to die all the way back to the ground. And the roots are surviving. They're going to grow back, except you're going to lose your entire vine length. And so that's what has happened to all of my Confederate Star Jasmine. It actually made it through the most of the winter months until we hit this last cold snap of 70 hours below freezing. And then it was like, nope, not gonna happen. So as you can see, what happens is the vine, the freeze, like it expands and contracts the vine so that the vine just like completely dies back. So this is toast. All these leaves are gonna be gone here soon. However, I think down here, these were protected enough to survive, I think. Sometimes it takes a long time for cold damage to show on Star Jasmine, but this vine that's down here has survived. And then I will have shoots coming up for sure, and it will grow back on this lovely espalier in no time. All right, so I'm gonna come up on my porch here and show y'all what I've got going on here. So this is Gerbera Daisy, and again, this came through winter like a champ until this last cold snap, and then all of the foliage died back. I don't think it's gone completely. It's still alive in there. That's nice and green right here, but it's just gonna have to come back after the cold that we received. And then this is a lovely azalea. I believe it is, let me see what it is. I have it, Autumn Sunset? Yes, it is Autumn Sunset Azalea, Encore Azalea. And I purchased this guy last fall in full bloom, and it's just amazing. Now you can see this was new growth that started coming through before we got our cold snap. And so the new growth is toast, but everything else is just fine. And I'm sure it's gonna bud out. It's just gonna be a little later probably than it would have been, because I think it was starting to bud out before. But absolutely beautiful, nice evergreen color, and it's going to be full of blooms pretty soon, I think. This is another beautiful evergreen interest, y'all. Variegated English ivy. I just love it. I really do. And it actually turned a little bit pink for me right after. See that? Look at that. The cold makes it turn a little bit pink. I love that so much, but it's been this way all winter. It will stay this way. It just grows and grows. I have it in pots because it can be slightly invasive, so keep that in mind. But I have another one over there. And actually later today, I think I'm gonna bring out my houseplants, and I'm gonna be putting one of my houseplants up on top here of this plant stand, and it's gonna look gorgeous. It's a very, a Zabrina. Tradescantia Zabrina is what I'm gonna put right up here, because there are no freezes in our forecast. There's not even temperatures below 40 in our forecast in the next 14 days. We'll see what happens. I'll bring it back in if we do get below 40, but it can handle 40 like a champ. So I'm going to bring that out. Right here, I have 2 hydrangeas. This one over here is an endless summer hydrangea. I have had it for 15 years, I think. No, wait, I'm sorry. No, 11 or 12 years. We've been in our house for 15 years. I got this a few years after we got here, but you can see all of this growth down there. It's coming alive. It's coming alive for sure. And then this one actually had more buds, that were toasted than the other hydrangea that was in the ground, which I guess you can say that's expected because it experiences colder temperatures than the one in the ground. So this one I said last time I had about 50 blooms on this last year, which was more than ever. I just like de-bloomed it. I just took all of the blooms off, and y'all, it was about 60 blooms, to be honest. So holy moly, it was full of blooms last year, more than I ever could have imagined. This year probably not so much, because all of these sweet buds just got toasted by this snap that we got. But we've still got some that are just fine. As you can see, like this one is totally fine. I've got, where did I see that other one just now? Oh, there's a green growth right there, so that's going to be just fine. Like those are going to be my blooms because it's on old growth. All of that stuff is the new growth, so all the blooms on that we probably won't see until summertime. But I mean, I do have some that were not fried. Here's one. Here's a couple over there. So it's not a lost cause. And actually I see more and more as even just today as opposed to yesterday. So that's super exciting. He's going to be alive and well here real soon. This one is a variegated lace cap hydrangea. So you can see that growth is variegated. It's white with cream on the outsides. I just absolutely love this plant so much, but it has never bloomed for me. So we will see what all of this does. It actually has none of its buds seem to be damaged, really. So we will see if actually this one's kind of damaged right there. It's all brown, but it's still alive in the center. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm really, really hoping to get some lace cap blooms here this year. It's this plant is at least 4 years old this year. And so I think variegated lace cap hydrangeas take longer to bloom than other hydrangeas. And I just haven't seen any blooms on it yet. So we're hoping for that this year. And then let me just quickly show you my 3-tier planter. Oh, I love this planter so much. So many possibilities. And this isn't the final product of what it's going to look like. But for now, it's green, and all of it is evergreen stuff. And so it's beautiful. I have some... this is so funny. This is regular liriope. Some of it is a little bit fried, but I got it for a whole flat of it. Like, what is that? 18 plants for $5 at Callaway's just a couple weeks ago. And then actually all of this is clearance plants now that I'm thinking about it. Variegated liriope was on clearance for $1 at Walmart in the fall. This I just found. This is ajuga, but it is... the name of the ajuga escapes me. But it is beautiful, and it's getting ready to bud out. They were on clearance for just a couple dollars each, and I picked up 4 of them. And then this is I was trying to think of the name of it this morning. I think it's leatherleaf fern or leather fern. Has the name leather in it, but it is, they love shade. This is morning sun only. For about an hour, and then the rest of the afternoon this is in the shade. So it's a perfect plant for that location, but it may not be where I put it permanently. It's just going there because it's lovely right now. And then I just have more of the liriope up there. Again, I'm bringing out some houseplants later because the temps are supposed to be pretty warm, so that's actually going to change. I may even refilm it. Who knows? After I put the houseplants up, but super exciting there. And now I'm going to take you to my backyard. Oh, wait, actually not yet. I have to show you my boxwoods. They are so beautiful right now. They were looking kind of woolly. These are baby gem boxwoods. So they've been in the ground for about 3 or 4 seasons now. And I was waiting to prune them because they were getting just kind of woolly and out of control, and there you go. I just hand pruned these. I didn't want them, I didn't want to try it with my what do you call them, the machine pruners. Didn't want to totally decimate them or ruin them with my terrible skills. However, hand pruning, you just take off little bits at a time, and then you stop when you like it. And so I think they look lovely. And then, so exciting, I have more hyacinth bulbs coming up. There is a bloom right there, and this one doubled on me this year. There were hyacinths planted last year in between every boxwood, and the only one not to come up is there. All of the rest of them are coming up and putting on growth and about to bloom. Ooh, that one's going to be a purple one, so that's super fun. And oh, that one didn't come up either. So I guess I have two that did not come up. But it's a lovely little boxwood hedge there, and it's looking really lovely. As you can see, I got a little bit of damage on this one. There's a little bit of cold damage where it turned like bronzy, but otherwise they really, really do well. All right, I almost filmed the front yard. I do this every time. I almost forget to show you my curbside containers. So if you watched last season, then you know that I had the most amazing plant ever in these two containers by the curb, and it was Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia. And then I also purchased a bunch of Proven Winner Supertunias to go all the way around it, because the Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia was in the middle and it was just itty bitty when I planted it last spring, and it overtook the Supertunias. The Supertunias did not survive. There's one plant that I planted a little bit later that did survive, and I'm going to show you in a second. But Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia is incredible. I will pop a video up on the screen down in the corner so you can see just how amazing it was. It was an amazing pollinator attractor. It was full color all season long, all the way up until we got our a hard freeze, and then it died back. But it was just unbelievable, and I was a little worried if I was able to get it to come back, because it is rated down to a zone 8. I am a zone 8, but this is in a container, which means it should be rated down to a zone 6 to survive. I did cover it when we got our hard really, really cold snaps, and sure enough, there it's coming back. So Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia is coming back for me, and I'm super excited about that. And I have pansies that are finally planted over there. They were neglected for a really long time, which is why they don't look the best, but they've finally been planted, and so I have those in here with Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia. And then I have these over here. I did see some green growth. I think it's right there. So that's super exciting. And then here's the pansies. But this right here is Superbena Sparkling Amethyst. So I planted Superbena Sparkling Amethyst, I think right here. No, probably right here. And it was amazing. It competed with the Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia. It spread itself all around. I just kind of cut it back, but it's like really, really doing amazingly well. So Superbena Sparkling Amethyst, I think, is the best verbena I've ever tried. And I will definitely pick up probably more. I love it. I gotta at least get another matching one for the other planter. But anyway, the Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia does have some new growth, so I know this one overwintered as well. And again, I have some pansies in there with it. All right, so coming around to my backyard, I am a home daycare provider, which is why you see some kids' toys there, but I can't do anything about that. But I did want to show you, this is a fairly new shade bed. This area gets 100% shade. And so I started off just with these pots a year ago, and they have large hostas, one large hosta in every one of them. This one is, I believe, Elegans Blue, and it's not up yet, but you can see it's definitely alive and well. I have a little bitty Brunnera right here. This one is a Sea Heart Forget-Me-Not Brunnera, and it is alive. It's a little tiny baby. It struggled last season where I had it in a pot. It got mealybugs really, really bad. So not a whole lot of expectation for this plant this year, but so far it's doing good. And then coming over here, I have some variegated Liriope Right here is a giant leopard plant, and it almost stayed evergreen for me, y'all, until this last cold snap hit, and then it died completely back. And that's what it's supposed to do, to be honest. They are perennial here, but again, it just died completely back, so I pruned that back, and it should have new growth here pretty soon. This one is an Elabroic hosta, and it has not come to life yet. Over here, there's more variegated liriope, and then this is a spotted leopard plant, and it did not completely die back. Like, it's got a little bit that survived, so at least I have something to show you here, but it's gonna completely go crazy here in a little bit. And then over here, this one is Shadowland Woo La La by Proven Winners. This is the first one to come up. So you can see those little hosta heads there. They are coming alive, which is so exciting. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Then I have more variegated liriope. I have an endless summer hydrangea that I propagated. It has struggled a little bit, so we will see what happens with it. It is, I think, still alive, but I don't know, just barely. We'll have to see. And then this one, this hosta is Shadowland Diamond Lake. And yeah, it's not quite coming back to life yet, but I think real soon it probably will. I actually think, oh, nope, never mind. Here is Chloe. She is our garden cat. There she is. Hi, Chloe. Hi, baby. I'm just in love with this plant right now. This is autumn fern. I've always wanted one. I finally picked one up, and it was completely evergreen for me all winter long. This guy kind of got zapped, this one that's laying on the ground, but everything else did beautifully all throughout the cold, and I just absolutely love it. All right, coming over this way, the sun might make it a little bit interesting for us, but I have a kaleidoscope abelia here that has just struggled. I just transplanted it to this area, hoping it would get more sun here. So we'll see what it does this season. It does have some new growth. Let's see, actually lots of new growth on that stem there. So I think it's gonna do good. We'll just wait and see. If it does not perform well here, it's just gonna be gone, because I'm not gonna have something scraggly like this in the garden. But kaleidoscope abelia, when they are thriving, it's an absolutely beautiful plant, different colors all throughout the season. It's a great plant, but I'm not loving this plant because it has just been on the struggle bus the entire time I've had it. So we'll just have to see. I have a row of dwarf pink Mexican petunias here. They were starting to come alive before our cold snap. Then of course that, kind of delayed everything, but there is a little bit of growth just this morning on one of them. So, and there's a little bit of growth over there. Over here is candy corn spirea. You can see it is coming up. Look at those red leaves. They are spectacular, glowing in the sun like that. I just love these so much. They look like, honestly, they look like red flowers when they come up. They have a beautiful rosette shape. I mean, they're leaves, but they look like flowers. And then just wait, just follow me through the season, y'all. This plant is just unbelievable. Candy corn spirea. So for this is my main garden bed, honestly, in the backyard. This is my sun garden bed, and I have tried really hard, especially in the last year, to make this a like what I say, evergreen perennial flower bed. So interest for all seasons, and I think I'm doing okay. I have some daffodils popping up right now, which are absolutely beautiful. This one is bent over, and what a lot of people in the gardening community in North Texas are saying, it's because of our cold snap. This was almost blooming when we hit like the 70 hours below freezing, and it kind of zaps the stems sometimes. And so a lot of people's daffodils are going to be facing downward because of that little cold snap. But interestingly enough, they're also saying that this cold snap that we had so late and close to spring it is going to be great for the spring bulbs that are going to be blooming. It's going to make them bloom longer. It's going to make for more consistent blooming. So we'll just have to see, but I have quite a few that are just coming up all over the place. And then if you look right here, you will see I have these popping up everywhere now. These are the blue bonnets, y'all. Here's another one right there. They're kind of all throughout. And if you remember, I have a video about it. I threw out some blue bonnet seeds. Actually, I think this is even one of them that didn't germinate. I threw out some blue bonnet seeds in October in hopes that they would just cold stratify themselves. And blue bonnet seed shells are really, like, they may bloom the first season, but then it could take them years to open up as well. And I didn't do anything to the seeds, just threw them out. I think I did that in October. I'll have to pop that up on the screen, but check out that video if you want to see. Literally, I just scattered them. And so here is the result of that. Now in late winter, early spring, the seedlings are popping up all over the place. And so hopefully I will have blue bonnets everywhere. Well, that's exciting. I do have some violas again popping up a little bit. I had some pansies. They are not really in bloom right now. Let me see this guy. It's kind of wonky bloom too. It's weird, but that's a pansy. I have a Sweet William plant here and then another Sweet William plant on that side. I have a new Sweet William there. I have a dianthus. I have dianthus scattered all throughout. I also have echinacea, different types of echinacea scattered throughout. Like a white swan echinacea is here. I think a powwow echinacea is right over there. And well, now I have figured out why the tips of my blue agave are all brown. It's because my dog is chewing them. Oh, that's super fun. Look at that. Gummy, this is Gummy. She's our puppy. She's going to be a year old next week, and she is a hot mess. I cannot have nice things with her because she destroys everything. I'm going to be so glad she's behind me putting her paw on my back. I'm going to be so glad when you are grown and you don't destroy everything. It's going to be so nice. But in the meantime, you're a little destroyer, and I can't have nice things, huh? Oh my goodness. Anyway, coming back to the perennial bed, I wanted to show you, we saw something around here. Where did I see it? Oh, right here. I do believe this stuff coming up, that is Plumbago ceratostigma. It is a ground cover that I have. The interesting thing is it's mostly planted over there though, so I'm not actually super certain that's Plumbago ceratostigma, though it looks like it. Plumbago ceratostigma is a perennial ground cover here. It's not your annual plumbago that you're used to. It's a ground cover and it's blue flowers. Totally awesome. I absolutely love it. I have one planted over there and another one planted there, but it's really kind of coming up all throughout the garden, which is exactly what I wanted. Let's see. I was talking about all the echinacea. I have an echinacea purpurea over here. I think I have another echinacea over there. So I have echinacea dotted everywhere, dianthus dotted everywhere, a ground cover, Plumbago ceratostigma dotted everywhere. I also have coreopsis, and I'm growing new coreopsis as well, a different variety. But this is, I think this is coreopsis lance leaf, and it's popping up a little baby over there, and it's doing really well. I have more violas if you see that. Let's see, another dianthus. Again, I have blue bonnets all over the place. Another coreopsis over there. And then if you can see, let's go back there. I actually, oops, sorry, Chloe, her little tail. I'm so sorry, baby. Looking over here. Oh, I just love this plant so much, especially at this time of year. This is Mr. Goodbud sedum. It was where the kaleidoscope abelia was in last season, and it just got too much water there. It got overspray from our grass plus the garden irrigation, and so it just got too much water. It did okay, but I could tell it was not like super loving life at the end of the season. So I planted it here. This is like a drier spot in my garden, and it is coming up. Little rosettes all over the place. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then somewhere over here, I'm getting so sad, but there is a peony over here. And it survived last season. I remember planting these things around the peony. I didn't plant on top of the peony, but I'm not seeing the peony come up. It's making me kind of sad. It should be coming up right now, but we'll keep an eye out on it. I need to turn back around because I forgot to let y'all see the limelight hydrangea that I have. Actually, yes. I pruned this guy back and we are up to one singular stem because I'm going to train it into a standard hydrangea. So it's not coming out quite yet, but definitely alive and budding out, swelling at the nodes for sure. And then there are some bluebonnet seeds that I scattered in this pot that are coming up as well. So look how cute that is. And then again, I've got bluebonnets like right there coming up all around. There's a pansy that's looking pretty good. So there you go. That is my perennial bed. Coming back over here, again, I have an echinacea right there. This is Confederate Star Jasmine. As I mentioned earlier in the video, most of my Confederate Star Jasmine died back. This one maybe did not. I'm waiting to see if it sustained damage, and it's still like this vine. Actually, look at that new growth. That's exciting. Maybe. We'll see. It takes a while to see the damage on Confederate Star Jasmine. So we will just have to see, but this one may have stayed alive. That one, sorry about my shadow, y'all, but this one is going to die completely back. I can tell you for sure. I just know from experience. It's not going to be dead. It's going to grow from the roots. But this one may not. I may see really beautiful spring jasmine blooms on this one, which is exciting. This plant, all you can see is a trellis until you get close. This is a clematis that I bought mature last year, and it is sapphire indigo. Yes, sapphire indigo clematis, beautiful purple blooms. This is really my first clematis, so I'm excited. It seems to be a champ, honestly. I pruned it back, and then there's new growth all over the place. It got this new growth before our cold snap, and the new growth came through perfectly. No signs of damage after that cold snap at all on this new growth, which I'm so happy about. And this is jasmine. This actually still looks really, really good. So I'm actually really happy about that. But that is going to be absolutely beautiful this year. And then I have a rosemary over there planted in a pot because that location, everything that I plant there absolutely dies. So I thought rosemary's pretty tough. I'm going to put that rosemary pot there and see what happens. And so far it's doing pretty good. Let me get back and show you my pots or containers. This is obviously all potted up with pansies. They're doing pretty. Look at that. Look at that lovely yellow bloom. I just love pansies. As you can see, they're kind of dotted everywhere. Absolutely beautiful. And then I have a blue agave that came through just fine. Like I said, it's sustaining some damage on the tips, and it's because I've seen Chloe, our cat, rub up against it, and then apparently Gummy is chewing the ends of it as well. So the poor plant, I'm so sorry, blue agave. The pets are abusing you for sure. This is my herb planter, and the strawberries are doing fine. I've also got mint that came up all the way in here. This mint is peppermint, and it was planted here, and I cut it way back. Actually, this mint that's down there that's coming through, I think that's apple mint. I have apple mint that was planted here, peppermint here, and then mint is so crazy, y'all. That's why it's in a pot, because it just goes everywhere. It came through the middle, took over the strawberries. Over here is lemon thyme, and I know you can't see it because of the shadow, but there is new growth right here. I just can't get it to focus on that. There it goes. New growth on lemon thyme, so that's really fun. I also have oregano planted back here that has new growth. This is dill or fennel, not coming up yet, and this is dill or fennel Actually, look at that. That's coming up. All right, so that's fun. And then way back here, I don't know if it's going to come through. I'm trying to get it on film. That was tricolor sage. It was not happy last year. So we'll just have to wait to see if that comes back. But that's my herb planter. This is just an empty planter. I have tons of stuff that I am winter sowing. I need space for it all. So lots of containers that they're going to go in. And then I'll probably be dotting them throughout here if I have room as well. But I have strawberries here. I also have a balloon flower planted in the center there. But the strawberries do amazing all through the winter time. Oh, I have a little baby bluebonnet because I did scatter some seeds in it, and they are further developed because I did these a little bit later and I tried something different with the seeds that are in here. I froze them for a couple of days and then I boiled them. And what that does is it cracks the seed head open and helps it to germinate faster, which is absolutely true. I think I did these in December and they germinated right away all through the cold. I may have done it in November, but they're further along than the other seeds. Notate, because I did actually treat these. I froze them for 2 days and boiled them, cracked the seed heads open, then planted them, and they have done really, really good all winter long. So that's those. Same thing here. Here I have a hardy hibiscus. It's actually summer carnival hibiscus. Long story with this plant. It's struggled. We'll see how it does this year. But bluebonnet seeds that were frozen and then boiled, and they are literally, I'll bet they're going to shoot up blooms here really soon, actually. So they're much further along than the other seeds that I threw out even earlier, and those weren't treated at all. So that was my experiment with bluebonnets this year, because I have something really, really fun planned for bluebonnets, hopefully with our HOA, in planting some in our neighborhood. And so I really wanted to see what type of stratification would work best for bluebonnets. And I think I found my answer. So this, y'all, is a mystery. I don't remember planting any types of bulbs in here at all, but there are things growing, and I dug it up and it's a bulb. It looks like a tiny little garlic bulb. Maybe that's what this is, but I don't know why they're there. It's the strangest thing in the world. So yeah, this I don't ever remember seeing bulbs in here whatsoever, or I've never even bought garlic bulbs or planted garlic. So I have no idea what these are. If you guys know, please let me know. But I'll be really curious to see what these end up being, because that's so fun. Okay, this right here is when I transplanted my Mr. Goodbud sedum, a piece of it broke off that had roots, so I planted it. And so that's what you see here, and it is coming up, so that's lovely. Here I have a crepe myrtle that was a baby seedling growing in my yard, so I just thought, hey, can I grow it in a pot? And yes, I can. And then I have more pansies right there as well. They're doing really, really, really pretty. All right, so this guy is a Texas sage. It does not look great right now. My experience is that they don't look great in the wintertime. They defoliate in the center a lot. They kind of keep some of these outer leaves, but I did prune this guy back as well, which is why it looks even more bare than normal. But as you can see, all of those little nodes are glowing with new growth. So we're definitely going to see this thing fill out very soon. And right over here is my sunshine ligustrum that I have tree formed, and I just recently hard pruned this guy as well. I just hand pruned it, this one. That's why it looks a little more natural than my other sunshine ligustrum. But as you can see down there, it's totally tree formed, and this guy is like 8 feet tall at least. I didn't know sunshine ligustrum could get 8 feet tall, but they absolutely can, and I really love it here. And hopefully with the hard prune that I've done, it will open. Oh, there's a basketball down there. That's my, oh, there's 2 balls down there. Please excuse the balls that my kids keep putting down there. there. But anyway, I'm hoping there will be a lot more sunshine down here, and I'll have to keep pruning this sunshine ligustrum to make sure of that. But coming down here, I have, the reason that I want more sunshine is that there is a limelight hydrangea planted right there. And then I have a juga planted around as well. It's actually doing pretty well. I'm hoping to add more shade plants, or at least part shade plants under here. So I've got some winter sowing things going. I'm going to be doing a lot of coleus. I even have some bok choy, which is a part shade type of plant, and it's got really interesting foliage. So I thought, hey, I mean, I may not eat the bok choy, I don't know, we'll see, but it might be interesting to put some down here. And then I have a Confederate Star Jasmine there. But yeah, I want to add a lot to this area, and it's kind of been a trouble area for me, so we'll just have to see. I have another Texas sage planted right there, but gosh, it's on the struggle bus. It always has been. I'm thinking of pulling it out. It's too much shade for it, for sure. I pruned it back a little bit, and it is getting more sun now that I have pruned the sunshine ligustrum, but I'm not sure about that one. Let's see. Another Confederate Star Jasmine is here, and then here is my coral honeysuckle, full of new growth. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping I have a lot more blooms on it than I had last year, which was its first year in the ground. And I'm waiting to see if that new growth is viable or not. I think it's fine, honestly, because it was coming out when we got our big cold snap. But I only saw a couple blooms on this last year, but this is pretty promising. All of this new growth, it's going to have these beautiful pink blooms, so I'm really looking forward to that. I have a Midnight Marvel hibiscus that's right down there. Beautiful red blooms. It is dormant. And then I have canna lilies planted here. I'm taking them out. I need to do that really, really soon. It's still on my to-do list. I'm going to try growing, there's another soccer ball. I'm going to try growing Mexican sunflower or Tithonia here. I'm not super sure because it is a little bit shaded down here at the base, but as the plant grows tall, which is what I need here, I need tall plants on these because of the patio, but as it grows, it's going to be in full sun. So I'm not super sure what the Mexican sunflower will do. I have normal sunflowers that I'm winter sowing as well, and I have tall zinnias like State Fair zinnias and cactus mix zinnias. So maybe I'll just put all of those here and then see what happens. I know the zinnias will probably do just fine because I've grown them in part shade environments before, and then once it gets the growth going, then it'll be fine. But anyway, that's the plan. And then I have echinacea that's planted right here. And I have this beautiful archway, which I think you can probably see in the sun. It's hard for me, but I grew purple hyacinth bean vine on this archway last year. I helped them grow up with these trellises, and I'm not going to do that anymore. The purple hyacinth bean vine is just a little too much for me. I'm going to be honest. The branches were like as thick as my thumb and thicker. And then it was just too much. So I'm going to be growing this year. My favorite annual vine was Black-Eyed Susan vine. And I got a pink variety. I believe it's something sunset. And I'm winter sowing those right now. And so I'm going to be planting them on either side and growing Black-Eyed Susan vine on this as well as on my back fence and all of the other places. So let's go up here and let me show you what's up here. All right, so this is the cutest little planter ever, and I have hens and chicks planted in it. They've been here for almost a year now, and they've done pretty well, to be honest. This one is Ruby Hearts Hens and Chicks. And there's another type. Hold on, let me get this guy up. Look how sweet those are. Okay. There's another type, and it's Pacific Blue Ice Hens and Chicks. So they're so pretty. They take on like a magenta hue in the winter time. This one kind of died back a bit, but it's coming back to life. And the great thing about these is they're in small little containers. But they can take the brutal heat of our summer, and they can take the extreme cold in the winter in these tiny little containers. And so they're just a marvelous plant, and I love that I have some succulents planted there, and about the only succulents that I can keep alive, to be honest. But they're super easy to grow. I did water them in the summertime, but not as often as one would like, and they still came through really, really well. So that's fun. So coming over here is one of my favorite things I have planted in all throughout the gardens, and it is Tangerine Beauty Crossvine. And it's my favorite vine. It is a perennial vine. I have a video about it. I talk so much about it in my garden tours. So if you've watched them, you know how much I love this plant. But here it is after the cold. It's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, it's just magnificent. And the other thing that it did for me in its second growing season was it gave me some seed pods. So that's what an immature seed pod looks like. And then there is a mature seed pod that I need to get the seeds from. Where is it? It's somewhere over here. Okay, I can't. Oh, here it is. Here is what a mature seed pod looks like. So it's all dried up. It's probably ready to pop open, and inside are the seeds. And I'm actually growing or trying to winter sow some of my first seeds that I got from it. So they have not germinated. It's been a couple weeks at least. So we'll just see. They may not be viable. This is its first time giving seed pods at all, because these are just a couple years in the ground. But this is a beautiful plant, and it's going to be full of coral blooms here in the spring, actually pretty soon. So that's super exciting. Down here, I have pink muhly grass, which was planted over there. Did not love life. It did not get enough sun. So I put it in a pot up here. And then here, this was overwintered in my house. This is blue evolvulus. Are those? No, it's not bloomed. Okay. But, ooh, I'm going to need to treat that guy. Okay. He's got some kind of spider mite, I think. I may need to look inside at my houseplants, because I didn't notice that before. Unless in the last couple days it got spider mites. I have no idea. But it did not overwinter super well in my house, but it does have new growth. So outside it is, and it's doing fine. This is a verbena that I don't remember the type, that I also just kept in a pot and put it inside in some of the cold snaps. There's nothing else planted in this pot. I just planted that there. Right here, this is my hydrangea propagation pot. Actually, it has a bluebonnet and it has a Chinese forget-me-not in it. But these sticks are the cuttings of my limelight hydrangea. I had a lot of them since I pruned it all the way down to try and tree form it. And so I hardened them off right here. There's still a ton left. I don't have room for those. I may give them away if somebody else wants to try and propagate them, but this is what I do. I stick them in soil after a couple of weeks of hardening off, and then I see which ones root. And last year I did it with a little lime hydrangea, and this is the result. Only one of them took last year, but this is the plant, and as you can see, it's actually starting to leaf out. There's a green leaf coming through. It's so exciting. But yeah, this is a little lime hydrangea, and I've got, again, some bluebonnet seeds in there as well. I threw bluebonnets everywhere, y'all. Okay, I'm picking up where I left off before, but it is a couple hours later. I had things going on, and so I did want to show you this area right here. I have another Confederate star jasmine that's growing up this pole, and it's in this container. So for sure what's down here probably is totally fine. I don't think it's going to be damaged, but up here is a little bit questionable. Once the leaves start turning this color, then you have to imagine that vine might be gone. But I don't know. It just takes a while sometimes to see that winter damage. So we will have to see. Down here is 3 foxtail ferns, and I've cut them all the way back. They are only rated down, I think, to a zone 9. And so to be out here in true zone 8 temperatures in a container, they most likely did not survive. But a lot of people here in DFW, in the northern Dallas area, they say that their foxtail ferns come back. I don't know. This is my first experience with foxtail ferns, trying to keep them over the winter. That's a little bit promising right there. But who knows? It's okay. It's totally okay. The year before last, I tried to take these inside to overwinter them. But do you see, like, all of the things that fall off when I do this? Do you see all this down there? All of this was in my house over the winter time. So I am never doing that again. They shed like crazy. But anyway, we'll see if those come back. This guy was, my coreopsis, the landsleaf coreopsis, is like popping up everywhere. I don't know if it reseeded itself or if it's spreading by rhizome, but I got this guy out because I didn't really want him where it was growing in the other garden area, and I potted him up, and I just kind of put him here for right now, kind of in a shaded area while he's getting used to his new surroundings. I probably will give him away to someone who might want him, or put him in a different spot. But I haven't decided, so there he is. And then over here, all of my strawberry plants have overwintered. So my strawberry planter is over there. That's my strawberry planter. Over the summertime, it put out tons of babies, and I caught the babies, meaning like the babies were spilling over the sides, and I just really popped them into a container with soil in it, and then they grow their own roots and really easy propagate themselves. So these are strawberries, and I think I'm going to put these down in in this part shade area that I'm about to show you. I'm just not really super certain. I may give some of them away, but I didn't want to waste them. So they're baby strawberries. And by the way, they came through the cold in these containers in this location just fine. And then I also have another propagated hydrangea here, and it is alive. If you can see that. That grows right there, and then this grows right here. So it's definitely alive, and I think I even have growth. Yeah. The other one that's in the ground, I don't think it's alive anymore, but this one is, and so if that other one is dead, then I'll pop this one in its place. But that's what that is. I'm going to show you pretty quickly. I've had a couple of videos about my winter sowing jugs, and that's them right there. They're just loving life in the sun right now. And I will probably do an update here pretty soon on my winter sowing jugs, but if you're curious what's in them and what I'm growing, then go ahead and watch my winter sowing videos. I will pop those links up on the screen for you. And then we will get down to this area. So here is my part shade garden. Over there in this in between is actually a shade garden, except for the winter time. The reason it is a full shade garden normally is because of that crepe myrtle of my neighbors. It's usually obviously leafed out, but obviously in the winter time it's deciduous. So in the winter, these guys get tons of sun, and then it's more of a part shade, I should say. But then once that tree leaves out, like, it's dappled shade all the time. So, and let me just preface everything by saying I have had a heck of a time in this area with my puppy digging back here. So you're going to see a couple of holes, just a couple, but there have been major issues because there are several plants she has dug up over and over and over again. And while they may be alive now, they may not be alive much longer. I actually put, I'm going to do a video about this, and I don't want to tell you the results quite yet, but I did put, it's called Propels All granules down last weekend. And well, I guess you can see kind of what's going on, but I will do a video about it, whether it works or not, and let you guys know. But anyway, let's see what's going on down here. So I've got some Greg's mist flower that is here that kind of spread itself as a ground cover over here. I have a peony that used to be somewhere here, but I think Gummy has dug it up. There is no signs of peony there any longer. I have canna lilies right here that I'm actually going to take out. I have a boxwood that's doing really well. I used to have Purple Heart Wandering Jew all throughout here as kind of a border. That's, again, something she has completely dug up. My puppy did. Let's see. A little bit of signs of life right here. I have an aster right here and right here. She has dug this up several times as well. Let me see. I'm just looking around. See, there's one of the holes she's digging. So this empty area right here, these brown leaves are actually amaryllis. We'll see if the amaryllis I had planted, it's right here, if it has any new growth or not. The amaryllis did not do super well in the cold snap that we just had. So we'll find out. It's marginal here. It goes down to zone 8. I think it goes down to 8B actually. And I have 2 amaryllis there. So we'll see if they survive. But I have more amaryllis that I had in my house over the Christmas time that was blooming. And I'm going to put them here. And I also have more daylilies that I'm going to put here in this part shade garden as well. And this is one daylily that is coming up. Over here is, oh, poor thing. This is a rose mallow. And the leaves that you see, this is variegated vinca as well. Just like in my front yard, this, you know, I just kind of took some cuttings and placed them in the ground a couple seasons ago. And that's what you're seeing there. And then here is where the shade garden typically starts. And so I have 6 endless summer hydrangeas as like a hydrangea hedge here. And then something new to the garden is coral bells or heuchera. And I have, is it 6 varieties or 5 varieties? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Okay, we'll find out. But Gummy, my puppy, has dug the coral bells up. She has an obsession with them. They have been dug up multiple times, and she's starting to get my hydrangeas as well. Oh, but anyway, all of that said, the hydrangeas are doing good. They're getting their little buds on them, so they're okay. Amazingly, this one is magma coral bells, and it's got new growth even though it's been dug up so many times. So that's really exciting. Again, that's doing pretty good. This one is, let's see, electric lime coral bells, and it has new growth as well. Gummy, don't even touch. No, ma'am. You leave my coral bells alone. This one is, I think, Georgia peach. No, I'm sorry. Caramel coral bells. Put that there. And yeah, I mean, new growth, y'all. That's amazing. I can't believe it. She has just really torn these up, but they're doing okay. Another hydrangea. Then this one, I can't find the tag, but I know that it's onyx coral bells. I think black onyx is what it's called, but it has new growth, so it's doing okay. This one I'm not sure about, actually. She may have done this one in. This one is the Georgia peach. And, oh, there's new growth. All right, it's struggling, though. Poor thing. Poor thing. I'm so sorry. Anyway, that's Georgia peach coral bells. I really hope I can keep her from digging these guys up any longer. But that one is the last of the hydrangeas there. And then same thing over here. She has dug this up. I have a Queen of Hearts Brunnera, and it had a new leaf. I can't find it anymore. That is such a bummer. I don't know. We'll see. I don't see any signs of life around here, which is really weird. Because I should. Oh well. That one might be a goner. We'll have to find out. I have pink Turk's cap right here. So starting here is where the shade will end, because the crepe myrtle tree, we're kind of at the edge of it. So everything from here on is part shade. This is the time of day that it normally gets sun. So from like, I think it's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., maybe 3 hours of sun is what this garden gets, maybe 4. So anyway, I have pink Turk's cap. I need to go and cut that back, honestly. This will take forever to start leafing out. It's one of the last things in the garden. And then I have another daylily right there. And then I have my oak leaf hydrangea right here. So it's mostly defoliated after this last cold snap, but it's definitely doing fine. It has new growth. And then let's see if we can get some of these buds. Look at that. It's got all of these leaf nodes ready to go. And it's been in the ground for 1 full year at this point. I did not get to see any blooms last year because I had just purchased it the fall before, and it had been pruned when I purchased it, and so I think they pruned off all of the next year's blooms, which is such a bummer. So I didn't see blooms last year. They bloom on old growth, but it grew massively. So it's almost 5 feet tall, and it was just a little tiny baby when I bought it. It is a dwarf Alice in Wonderland oak leaf hydrangea. So again, my dog has dug all around its roots. There's even a root exposed there. I tried to do the best that I could, and I've done this several times. She just keeps digging things up, but it looks like it's doing really, really well. It has new growth and buds like all over the place. So I cannot wait for this spring to see all of the growth there. And then the only other thing back here is a Mexican petunia, and it's a full-size Mexican petunia. They are only rated down to zone 8, but they really seem to come back for everybody else that I know that's growing them, so I'm not too worried about that. Gummy, hey, get out of there right now. Go. There you go. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for watching. It's going to be such an exciting season, especially considering all of the things that I am growing. Wow, it's going to be, I'm going to have a lot of plants that I won't really know what to do with, but I do have a lot of open spaces, especially over here and especially in that part shade area. I have a lot of, so hopefully we'll be doing good, and I cannot wait to see how things turn out this growing season. I thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you're able to get out in the beautiful sunshine. I hope you're experiencing what we are, and just get out in the beautiful weather and enjoy it. Happy spring, everybody, or almost spring. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.